Welcome to Born to Watch, where three old mates, an ex-video shop owner, an industry insider, and a black belt in 80s kung fu movies put their mastery to the test on movies that changed the world.
Hey there, fellow watchers. I'm Whitey, and this is another episode of Born to Watch. After last week when we took a chance on Can't Buy Me Love.
Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance, take a chance, take a chance,
take a chance, take a chance, take a chance. It's funny.
Take a chance, 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 take a chance,
take a chance, take a chance, take a chance.
Are you coming in? Are you coming in?
When you change your mind.
Take a chance, 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 yes.
Well done, Dan. Amazing. Well, it was an absolute car crash, Can't Buy Me Love. I hated it, realised only 12 minutes into the movie that I'd never seen it before. But today, we are back in our comfort zone. And especially one of our members, we're right in his roundhouse, or maybe wheelhouse. There's a lot of questions to be asked about this movie, and I think we'll cover at least 40% of them. Tonight, we jump kick into the 2011 MMA action drama, Warrior. Let's meet the team. Gow.
Jump kick. I see what you did there.
Yeah, you saw
really nice.
Like that,
Very,
yeah.
very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, fellow watchers. Another big episode tonight. Looking forward to it.
This will be fun.
This will be really
This will
good.
be fun.
Expecting big things from you tonight, G-Man. It's definitely your area of expertise.
Well, there's no doubt since we changed the sort of the look and feel of the podcast, and you know, with me being the video shop owner and Dan being the industry insider and Gow being the black belt in 80s kung fu movies. Well, this might not be an 80s kung fu movie, but it is right in the zone for you, G.
Well, you know, I've spent a lot of time in my earlier life around karate and MMA, and back when I was in a karate quartet in Skokie, Illinois. You know, I've got a view on this movie. I've got a good view.
Okay, good. Well, you know, it's nice when we actually have expert advice from internally here. Dan, you've already gone and jumped the gun, but how are you up there on the land?
Oh, yeah, big week on the land. I decided I needed to learn how to weld this week. So I went up to M. Head's ranch and
This is frightening.
borrowed his welders. Yeah, it was pretty new to me, but I got both TIG and MIG. So if you're wondering what the difference is, MIG welding uses a continuously fed electrode wire and shielding gas via a handheld torch, whereas TIG welding uses a consumable tungsten electrode with a shielding gas fed through a supply line and a separate handheld filler rod that is manually fed into the weld pool.
So just confirm for me, Dan, when you're MIGs welding, is there anything shooting out of people into their face?
Excellent Silence of the Lambs reference there, but no. Look, I'm very much keeping the shots, loaded shots, down to a minimum at the moment with both TIG and MIG. But yeah, look, I figure one day I might put some cattle yards into the ranch and a couple of other metal things, aluminium as well. So yeah, definitely a good skill to have up here on the land. We also had a great dinner down in the Big Smoke this week. Went down and had some Asian fusion at Light Years in Noosa Junction. So that was
nice.
Very good feed down there. And I also drank heaps of piss.
There's
a Light Years here on the GC,
yeah,
and it is really
Yeah,
good.
Light Years is great. It's
Yeah.
at Burley. It's really,
It's at
really
Burley,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, look.
Really
Okay, nice.
good.
Sounds like a good week up there on the land. Look, if you want to support the podcast and help us grow, make sure you subscribe to us on all good podcast platforms and share, especially to all your friends, and even not your friends. Just share to anyone. You can also find us on all the social networks, Facebook, Insta, TikTok, YouTube, MySpace, Yahoo, everything. Feel free to reach out and join our community and the burgeoning group that is happening on Facebook, Watchers Unite. Get on there. It's starting to grow. It's building.
We're uniting.
We are uniting. We are
It's good to see.
uniting with one vision.
With one vision.
One vision.
So, look, Warrior is a yearly watch for me, which is not surprising because most movies tend to be that we do on this movie podcast. But I got fond memories of this one, especially around the time it was released. And it's not often that movies surprise me, but this one really surprised me a lot. I was not expecting what I got. Gow, when did you first see Warrior?
I first saw Warrior when it came out in 2011. I think, I'm not sure where I watched. It wasn't a cinema. I watched it online somewhere. I watched it long after it came out. Not long after it came out, but yeah, it's a good movie. It's a long movie.
Yeah, 2 hours 24 or something. Yeah,
yeah, and really good cast, which we'll get into soon.
Small cast.
Yeah, small cast, but everyone plays their part in this movie.
Yeah,
really well, I think.
What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I think you may have tipped me into this. I remember it was, I didn't see it at cinema, that's for sure. I was definitely, my cinema attendance was dwindling in 2011 for sure. But I must have seen it, I reckon, probably on a DVD from that new video shop in Avalon. And, it stayed with me. And I'm looking forward to Overs and Unders because I'd like to know how many times you guys have seen it.
Yeah, look, I saw this at the movies. I'd read about this. This was when I had the video shop. This is right in the middle of that. And I'd read a lot about this movie before it came out at the movies and was quite excited to see it. So when I went and saw it, I was by myself at Warriewood Cinemas in a which is the best way to see a movie, I reckon, on your own, solo, no one else in the cinema. If you need to take a leak, you can go in the back corner with your cup. You can leak away. May or may not have been done before.
Roy Mustaka wouldn't stand for that shit.
Oh, mate. Well, please. So I saw it by myself and then saw it countless times in the video shop. Countless times. This was when it first came out. This was a Friday night. I'd put this on at about 7:30 when the kids were starting to leave the shop, and it was just the older people coming in, and would watch it a lot. I'm going to set the overs and unders. This is a 2011 movie, so we're 12 years in now. I'm going to set the over and unders at 12. Gow?
I'm under. Now, I haven't watched this movie a huge amount of times. I'd be 5 to 10.
Okay.
But I watched it when it first came out. I've watched it a few times since. It's a great movie. It's not something I've watched over and over, though.
It's sort of your kind of movie, though.
It is, and I really did enjoy the rewatch on this.
Yeah. So. Yeah. What about you, Dan? Over and under 12?
Over 12. I've watched this movie a lot. It's a go-to for me for sure. So I've seen it plenty of times.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I'm well over 12. I think I'm probably double that. I'd be 20 to 25. It's a yearly watch, but I bashed this at the start. I probably watched this 10 times in the first 3 months that it was out.
Well, like with most movies, I watched this quite a quite a few times early on, then haven't watched it for years now. But that's why it's always good to go back and see it again. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that having not watched it for a while, it comes back and you go, wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's a powerful film. Okay, let's listen to the trailer.
Growing up, we all want to know the toughest kid in the neighborhood was, right? I want to know the toughest man on the planet is. That's what we're going to find out.
Brendan, it's me, Pop.
What are you doing here?
Tommy's back.
Did he say if he wants to see me?
I'm proud of you, Tommy. What you did for that kid in the tank.
What was I supposed to do? Let him drown?
Tommy Reardon, you saved my life.
Look, Brendan, the bank has got to go by the new appraisal figures. You're upside down on your mortgage.
How much do you need?
I didn't come here for long, Frank. I was hoping that you would train me.
Are you serious?
Do it! I thought we agreed that we weren't going to raise our children in a family where their father gets beat up for a living.
Brendan, you're a teacher. You got no business in the ring with those animals.
Actually, I used to be one of those animals. Guess I forgot to put that down on my application.
There's this big tournament. Top 16 middleweights in the world. But when it takes all, I'm gonna need a trainer of that much you were good at.
Frank, I need this. I got a family to protect. Everything I do is for them.
What's going on up here?
Daddy is now a princess.
Mom needed you. I needed you. You're my big brother. You bailed on me.
I was a 16-year-old kid. What the hell did I know?
You had a choice, okay? You had a choice.
War hero Tommy Reardon, who has become an overnight sensation, and Brendan Conlon, the physics teacher, they pulled off a miracle.
You can do this. When I hear you say it, I can do this.
You got him! This is impossible! The two men fighting for the championship tonight are brothers! Go war!
here to win this fight? Because if we're not, I will throw in the towel.
Good trailer that really gets you fired up for a good movie. Gow, why don't you tell us a little bit about Warrior?
Okay, here we go with the tagline of "Family is worth fighting for." An ex-Marine haunted by a tragic past returns to his hometown of Pittsburgh and enlists his father, a recovered alcoholic and former coach, to train him for an MMA tournament awarding the biggest purse in the history of the sport. As Tommy blazes a violent path towards the title prize, brother Brendan, a former MMA fighter unable to make ends meet as a public school teacher, returns to the amateur ring to provide for his family. Even though years have passed, recriminations and past betrayals keep Brendan bitterly estranged from both Tommy and his father. But when Brendan's unlikely rise as an underdog sets him on a collision course with Tommy, the two brothers must finally confront the forces that tore them apart, all the while waging the most intense winner-take-all battle of their lives.
That's a good synopsis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right on the money there. That's probably the best one we've had in a long time.
Yeah, it really hits everything that happens in the movie.
Yeah.
It's a long one too.
Yeah.
So is the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Morgs likes a long one.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Right in his wheelhouse. Okay.
Definitely have a penchant
for the long one. Okay, critical thinking. So on IMDb, Warrior rates 8.2 out of 10, which is great. Really good rating. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got 84% on the tomato meter and a 92% audience score. So well received all around. And deservedly so. Like, it's definitely an 8+ movie.
Interesting. Because I'm going to cut to the gross here. We'll go through the cast soon, but it was actually a budget of 25 million and it grossed 24.5 million.
Yeah.
So, but about 19.5 million on DVD after that. So it didn't do well at the box office, but it's one of those movies that kicked on because it is such a good movie.
But it's super niche too.
Yeah.
Like
but I mean, with a big cast,
yeah,
some big names came out, but it just didn't do anywhere near what they were hoping in that year.
It's a shame.
But it's actually, it's grown for a lot of people as we've moved on because it's got a big following.
Absolutely. Okay. Got a couple of reviews here. Here's the good one. Bruce Damara from Real Reviews. Lovers of the sport and macho men in general be warned. Warrior is so beautifully constructed and emotionally engaging, the tears are almost certain to fall. Bring a hanky or a very discreet companion.
Discreet companion?
I don't know what that means. Okay, the bad. Now, old Wayne Kerr, there were no reviews that I could find for this. So the bad. Andrew Pulver from The Guardian has to conform to the lunkhead straitjacket of the tournament format. One doofus pounding another in extreme close-up for what seems like an eternity. I think that's harsh.
That's harsh.
Yeah, that's super harsh. Yeah,
there are actually quite a few bad reviews from critics on this, and yeah, none that I could really go, well, give me something that is a bit poignant. It just seemed to be the whole macho thing.
I'll tell you what, for a long time, and it was probably before this, MMA has had a bad name, as a cockfighting sport. And that was more back towards the 2000s, or late 90s. It was outlawed in a lot of states until Dana White and the Fertitta brothers got into the UFC and made it so big. It was, in Japan, they had Pride and they had other organizations, but there was still this stigma that MMA is this cockfighting and it's really bad. And by this stage, there were already a lot of rules. It's very highly regulated like boxing is now. So, but there's still that public stigma that, it's just barbaric.
But I think you're walking into a cage. It looks like there's no holds barred. You can use your knees, you can use your elbows, you can do whatever. So it is barbaric. But I agree, it is much more heavily regulated now. But back in the day when you used to watch Ken Shamrock split people's heads.
Well, that's what I'm saying back then. But there's been a hangover to that time.
Yeah, of course.
And I think a lot of people, that's what happens is that people don't like it because, it's a movie about MMA.
Mm.
But it was growing so much then too. I mean, it's
for sure
grown exponentially in the last 15 years.
It's way more than a movie about MMA.
Yeah. It's way more.
It's way more. Okay. So, Gow, Ordinary People. Why don't you tell us about the cast?
All right, here we go. We'll start with the good Aussie favourite, Joel Edgerton.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about Joel before. He's been on here through
Animal Kingdom.
Started off, look, he did a lot of theatre early on, but did a few episodes of local Australian shows. Police Rescue.
It's a good one.
95. Water Rats.
Yeah, it's favourite.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Erskineville Kings, and he was on The Secret Life of Us as Will McGill in 2001. So that's the show that really put him on the map.
Yep.
He gave him his first big breakthrough in the television industry and was nominated for an AFI award. Then he was also in a whole heap of other shows: Secret Men's Business, Never Tell Me Never, Saturn's Return, and a bit of stage acting. But his first real big break came when he played Uncle Owen in Star Wars in 2002 in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So that was really his international.
Almost the worst of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Out of all of them.
Yeah, not
It's about
great.
one.
Not great.
Check out my rankings on YouTube, boys. You'll see it.
But look, after that, he was in Ned Kelly, good Aussie movie, King Arthur in 2004. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, 2005. Kinky Boots. Remember Kinky Boots?
Yeah, I do.
And as we said, Animal Kingdom in 2010. Warrior 2011. And then the remake of The Thing in 2011 as well.
There's a loose 6 degrees of 6 degrees of Kurt Russell there, or 1 degree of Kurt Russell. But it's not a great movie.
No. Well,
it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just the CGI lets it down.
It's nothing on the original.
It's a prequel, right?
It's a prequel, yeah. It tells the story of the Norwegian.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The Swedes. They're Norwegian, McCready.
But a few other big movies: Zero Dark 30, The Great Gatsby, Black Mass, which is
Johnny Depp.
with about Whitey Bulger.
Whitey Bulger, yeah.
Yeah, the gangster. He was in Gringo with Charlize Theron. But yeah, so anyway, we won't go much into
he's a great actor,
Yeah.
great Aussie actor. He's in a heap of stuff now. He's a Hollywood.
Yeah, he's a mainstay.
He's a staple.
He's a mainstay.
Yep.
Look, then we go into Tom Hardy. Now, Tom Hardy's had a long career, but he's been in so many movies. But yet again, he was on the stage a lot when he was younger, but made his television debut in one of your favorites,
Band of Brothers.
Yeah, Band of Brothers
Yeah.
in 2001 as John Janovic.
Yeah,
He's super young. If you go back and
super young. But if you go through Band of Brothers, you will see 30 men that are commonplace in your living room all the time now.
Yes.
Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks just absolutely crushed it with the casting of that.
Oh, it's an amazing show, but I didn't even recognize him. You know, it takes a while because he is so young.
Yeah, he's young. He's in it a lot. He's in it for a long time.
Yeah, he is.
Whereas a lot of those, like, a lot of them die. Like you'll see a lot of them, you'll see them for one bit and then they die.
Is he in Black Hawk Down as well, Gow?
He is in Black Hawk Down, yes.
But look, that's one of those shows. I started watching it again just a little while ago. Like there was just an episode came on, and it happened to be episode 1. I think it was just on, so I started watching it. Yeah,
I watch Band of Brothers at least once a year, and most years I watch it a couple times a year. It's so good.
Good flick. Good flick.
Yeah, really good.
But yes, no, he left his studies at the Drama Centre in London after that, and he was in Black Hawk Down, as you said, Morgs, and then he was the villain in Star Trek Nemesis in 2002.
Yeah,
Shinzon.
Baldy.
Yeah. But then Layer Cake, Rock and Roller, 2 really good
He's
English
great.
flicks.
He's good. Rock and Roll is underrated.
Yeah,
I
Handsome
know it's
Bob.
a Morg's favourite.
Yeah.
It's super underrated.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. I
The
like it
fact
better than
that-
Layer Cake.
The fact that old mate Guy Ritchie didn't come back with the real Rock and Roller and made that plethora of shit films afterwards, like Rock and Roller's awesome. It was probably is it the last great Guy Ritchie film, Rock and Roller?
It's hard to argue that it isn't.
Did you not like The Gentleman at all? You didn't like it, did you?
No, I didn't like The Gentleman.
It
It
was
was
okay.
okay.
He's got a new one out now, but I didn't get into the ones with Robert Downey either, the Sherlock Holmeses. So Rock and Roller for me was the last real snappy, tough guy, English, criminal underworld, just a really good flick. And the first time you see it, you don't know what the hell's going on. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, good flick.
It really introduced us to Jared Butler too, that one.
Yeah.
He had some good movies, didn't he, Guy Ritchie? Jeez, he had some good ones early
Oh, mate, he
on.
was on a tear, and then he's now a parody of himself, I reckon. He's now Guy Ritchie trying to be Guy Ritchie, which is a shame. It all went downhill when he married Madonna.
Yeah.
There you go. But look, also been in Inception 2010, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy 2011.
He's in big movies.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. Obviously in Warrior, and then Lawless in 2012. Have you seen Lawless?
Yeah, I have.
It's a good movie. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something got me onto that, and I watched it one night. Jeez, it's good.
Yep.
Really good flick.
It's got Shia LaBeouf in it too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
He's a bit maligned, the LaBeouf.
Oh, he's gone. He's
Apparently
done it.
he's quite
cancelled?
the proper fuckwit, not like a fuckwit like us, like a absolute fuckwit.
Absolute, beyond.
He's A grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously Dark Knight Rises and 2015, here we go. Mad Max Fury Road, Legend, where he plays both the Cray twins.
Both the Crays, yeah.
In that, and then The Revenant, which he got an Academy Award nomination. So big year 2015 for him. But also Dunkirk.
He's a bit of a jobber. Like he's got a lot of credits. He works hard.
I mean,
He works
we're only
hard.
going through the main ones here. I mean,
Apparently, the rumor was he was a functioning heroin addict. That was the rumor.
He got sober in 2003, and he hasn't had any alcohol or drugs since. But he was back then. He was pretty bad.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah, and he's also been in Peaky Blinders, Alfie Solomon's in that too. And there's another Mad Max coming out.
Yeah, Furiosa.
The Wasteland.
Oh right, yeah.
That's in production. He's got a couple coming out. Venom 3's in production. Mad Max: The Wasteland's in production, and Havoc is post production.
Okay,
that's with Tim Oliphant and Forrest Whitaker. So,
have you guys seen any of the Venoms?
Yeah.
What are they like?
Yeah.
They look shit.
Don't watch them.
No,
they're a waste of time.
So for the original Venom, he got paid $7 million in 2018. Venom 3, $20 million.
Yeah.
2 years later,
and it blows me away that movies that are shit keep continuing getting sequels. Like the first one was not great. The second one was better than the first one, and a completely different feel to it. But
they're just money making machines, mate. That's all they are. They're making.
I'm going to cover that.
Machines.
I'm going to cover that this week in a couple videos. I'm sure Morgs will make lewd comments at about original IDs in Hollywood. Where are they all gone?
Yeah, no, they fucked it.
I've found a couple of super stats for you.
Here we go. What does his grandmother call him?
Well, no, here's one. His father, Chips Hardy, is the first firefighter in the family to attend university.
Chips?
First firefighter in the family to attend university.
How many firefighters are in the family?
Oh, mate.
Are they a firefighting family?
They might be.
It's
the McCaffertys in
the
McCaffreys.
McCaffreys, yeah, absolutely. You go, we go.
Who's his whiny little brother?
Ah, fuck.
What's the? But just back to Dunkirk for a second. Is it when he's up in he's in his Spitfire and he's on the mission to get across? I mean, Dunkirk, the time thing. It takes you three times to watch that film before you realize what's going on. When you do, it's incredible. Yeah, but he's just the voice. So like you don't see. Obviously, he's got his mask on and he's a plane cockpit, so it's very difficult for him to emote really throughout for his character. But he has one scene I remember where he comes in behind one of the German aces and his colleague says something like, he's on my tail. And then you just hear his voice come over, I'm on him. It's just so understated and English and stoic. And I just think it's brilliant.
He's an incredible voice actor.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have the same voice in any movie for any role. And I think that it'd be kind of, if you were married to him or you're one of his mates, to be like, do you ever really know the real Tom Hardy?
He's played a lot of
Bird.
Yeah.
Fuck it. That was pretty
so many
cool.
diverse characters.
Born in the darkness. You really adopted it.
He's definitely he's going for the fences in that one.
Yeah, he does well.
But yeah, so look, he was actually cast in Suicide Squad as Rick Flag, but had to pull out.
Oh, it went to
because
that.
he was in The Revenant.
It went to
Joel
Rick Flags,
Kinnaman.
Yeah, the guy.
Joel
from,
Kinnaman, yeah.
I like Joel Kinnaman, but yeah, anyone that was in that film is just obviously in a big steaming pile of horseshit.
The latest James Gunn Suicide Squad, pretty good. It's worth a watch. It's good fun.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. Okay, I knew that was coming.
Was also considered for the role of Stephen Strange in Doctor Strange, which went to Benedict Cumberbatch, obviously.
Yeah,
which would have been a little different.
Yeah, you know what? He plays a big guy. Tom Hardy plays a big guy. He's a bit of a midget.
Yeah,
he's
not big.
I don't think he's big, but they make him look like he's big.
I saw Joel Edgerton in Motorvale once, and I just about lost my shit as I'm a bit of a fanboy. And he's not midget small, and he looks about the same size as Tom Hardy. So I don't think Tom Hardy looks imposing on film, but yeah, he's just a sort of normal medium wussy guy, you know. The ones
he's not big.
Well,
in this movie they make him look. He's obviously cut up, and they make him look.
Well,
bigger.
it's not long after they do Bane, or whether he's done Bane before this, or just maybe. So I think it's just after this. But he looks like he's a giant in Bane, and he's not a giant.
Yeah.
He was born in it.
All right, we'll move on. We'll move on to the old nut tuck himself.
Yeah, Morgs.
Wardy. This is for you, Wardy.
What a guy. Nick Nolte
Nick
isn't just an
Nolte.
out-and-out superstar.
Mate, how good is that guy in this film?
Yeah, let's
unbelievable.
Let's save I reckon we save the platitudes for good because I reckon there's going to be plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is incredible. But continue.
All right, some early TV shows. One of our old favorites, Emergency.
Company leader of Rampart.
Yep, 74, good year. Streets of San Francisco. He did a couple episodes as well. But
Mickey Douglas.
Yeah, his first big role was in The Deep in 1977.
But that's a Peter Brenchley novel that was adapted. It's terrible.
Jacqueline Bisset in that as well.
Yeah, great sort.
Good sort.
But look, the other obviously first big role after that was 48 Hours in 82.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Started the buddy cop movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute groundbreaking film.
Great
It's
movie.
funny. Yeah, awesome. We've spoken about it at length, so we won't dive into it.
Yeah, exactly. And gave the world Eddie Murphy as well. So
That's it. Yeah.
Extreme Prejudice in 87.
We spoke about that long ago.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in so
Mate,
long.
it's on
Plex. Watch
Is
it.
it? Okay, I will watch it.
It is
Yeah.
unreal.
By the way, I found The Wanderers too online the other day, so I'm going to watch The Wanderers. That's a great.
It's not on Plex, Wanderers?
I don't know. I found it on one of the platforms. But yeah, anyway, so that was 87. Cape Fear in 91 as Sam Bowden.
Yeah.
So
That's a great movie.
Yeah, good, really, really good.
Robert
movie.
De Niro.
Yep.
Remake of the High Pants Mitchum film.
Yeah.
No man in the history of planet Earth has worn their pants higher than Robert Mitchum, and that's including Greg Highfield, who does have stitch marks on the bottom of his sack from the seam of his pants.
Shout out to you, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey G. Bumfiler, Esquire.
The Prince of Tides, 91. He got an Academy Award.
That's with
a nomination.
That's
for
with
Academy Award.
Meryl. Who's the woman? The singer with the big nose.
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara
Streisand, yeah.
The Player in 92, playing himself. Lorenzo's Oil, 92.
Oh, tearjerker.
Yeah. Mulholland Falls, The Thin Red Line. Hotel Rwanda in 2004.
Yep.
Great flick. What did he do in Hotel Rwanda? I can't remember.
He was the Colonel Oliver.
I can't remember him either. It's a John Cheadle
interesting.
vehicle.
Oh, it's a Cheadle bit.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Cheadle salts.
Yeah.
But then came with a cracking role as Four-Leaf Tayback.
Mate, I got to say, it's one of his best roles of all time.
Yeah. It's really good, that character in Tropic Thunder.
Did you see that Tropic Thunder's coming under a heap of flack just lately about the blackface thing again? Like, move on. Why can't we just leave things in the period of time that they were? We all went, holy shit, this isn't probably right, but it's fucking funny.
Yeah. It pushed some boundaries, that one.
Push some boundaries.
But it pushes more boundaries these days, right? Like,
winner of MTV Movie's Best Kiss Award.
I'm the dude playing the dude about the dude. Fucking,
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
But yes, so and look, then obviously into Warrior. He's an Academy Award nominee for this movie
Should
as
have
well.
won. Should have won.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to those winners. But cracking role in this. And he was in Gangster Squad in 2013, The Ridiculous Six.
Terrible. That's Adam Sandler. Yeah, that was his first Netflix sojourn of his massive.
I didn't watch that based on your review.
Run.
Yeah, big time.
Oh, fucking Adam Sandler.
But he's actually done some voiceover. Sorry, Morgs, you go.
Oh, just one sentence on Adam Sandler. So talented and just so happy to make absolute dog turds.
You know, the thing was, he made some rocks and diamonds, hasn't he? Like, he really has had some good movies, and he's had some real bad ones.
Yeah,
he's not afraid to.
I like a lot of his movies, and a lot of them are shit. Yeah,
you don't mess with the Zohan.
There's heaps of shit ones.
We talked about this last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, look, he was actually considered for the role of Superman in the 1978 movie that Christopher Reeve got. Can you imagine him in that? Wow. Legend has it he wanted to play it as a schizophrenic.
Right.
Yeah. Different movie.
Yeah,
completely.
definitely different movie.
I don't think that becomes the fan favorite, family classic that it is.
Yeah.
Thought he was also going to be in Apocalypse Now. He's going to have the role that that Martin Sheen had, because Harvey Keitel had that role before him as Lieutenant
He got
Willard.
sacked. He got sacked real early.
And Nick Nolte thought he had the role, and then Coppola gave it to Martin Sheen.
Yeah. And
he's also considered to be Rambo in First Blood, another sliding door.
Wow.
I don't think he does a bad role. It's so iconic now, but I don't think he does a bad role of that. I think
he's no Sly Stallone.
I don't think so. All right, let's move on.
It's a long road.
We're gonna. So Dan,
Is that going to come up later, Morgs?
Yeah, I've like one bit of this film, Warrior, is the incredible use of the final scene song in this. It's by the National. It's called About Today, and I think it's just brilliant. And there's a bit about it which I'll talk about in Film School for FWITS this week. But I just want to look at the 10 films that really stick out for me as using a song in the final scene just superbly. So not to be confused with the amazing kick-ass credit of our friend Stan Bush and our homage to him every week. But no, the actual final scene that uses a music track. And it can be a huge thing for directors. Like we talked about it last week, God bless, in Can't Buy Me Love. But at a $1.7 million budget for the entire film, 100,000 of that went to Michael Jackson for the rights to the sync rights to use Can't Buy Me Love in that film. So it's not an inexpensive exercise. I know Days Are Confused paid a fortune for the Aerosmith track as well that opens that movie as well. So I'm just going to look at that in Film School for FWITS because, yeah, I really dig it.
Excellent. All right, Gow. We talked a little bit at the budget and box office.
Yeah.
You want to go any more into that, or
No,
do we
look,
want to talk about 2011, the year that was?
Let's talk about 2011. There's a few other actors in this movie, and there's a few cameos. There's one big cameo in this movie.
Yep.
Called a cameo, Morgs. Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle plays Cobra.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's
He's in a fair bit of. He's in a fair bit of the movie,
but he's not playing himself. So I think that's probably what rules it out. But he's excellent. I think he, as the Russian heavy, he does a great job. But those eyes are just so piercing.
How good though? There's some really good. Frank Grillo's great in this movie as well.
Frank Grillo's awesome.
Really, really good. And then went on to do
very underrated. Frank Grillo.
I was going to say that he's hugely underrated. He's in the MCU. He's in a lot of the Captain America movies.
The Purge. Remember that he's in The Purge.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. He's good in everything he does.
He's a bit like me in that he's old as fucking balls, but still looks quite sprightly and handsome. So he's got to be in his 50s, I think, and he looks the good. So
have you seen it in this movie?
Frank Grillo.
10 years ago, he's so young and so skinny in this because some of his other roles he's had since he's
beefed up.
He's beefed up.
Yeah.
His wife's the former mayor in Yellowstone that Kevin Costner knocks off every now and again.
Okay.
She's a great
okay.
It's his real life missus. Yeah, that's very, very.
She got a terrible name She got a terrible name in Yellowstone. I can't remember what it is, but it's a terrible name.
Yeah, I can't think of it.
Yeah.
But but he got knocked out. He got knocked out of all the Marvel. They cut short his contract. They cut him out.
Yeah, well, yeah. As soon as Captain America gets killed, there's no need for him anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, look, another few in there. Anthony Rumble Johnson was Midnight Lee. He was the first guy that Brendan Conlon fought.
Oh yeah.
Is he a fighter?
Mate, yeah. He actually passed away last year. I think he had pancreatic cancer, but he was a big bloke and he was cutting down to middleweight. Like he's huge and he was knocking people out left, right, and center. He never won a title, but he had some big fights. He was a really good fighter. Yeah.
I think he does well in that scene. You don't think he's just a fighter that they brought in. He comes across as an actor. That's well done. Rest in peace, big fella. That sucks.
But Nate Marquardt was the second fight. He was a long-time UFC fighter. He was the second fight that Brendan Conlon had.
Yep.
He was a middleweight in the UFC. Josh Rosen, the guy that refereed in that tournament, he's an actual MMA referee.
Come on, Josh.
He's no big John McCarthy, but a long time in there. And then John Anik was in there as well. Rashad
Evans.
Ready?
Let's get it on.
What about what I got two I want to mention? I'm going to mention Brian Callen, who's the commentator who's playing himself, but he's taking off Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Right? And he's great. He was in The Hangover. He's been in heaps of stuff.
He's really good.
He's in very two Hangovers.
Yeah.
The Hangover, doesn't he play somewhat of Arabic descent?
Yes.
Yeah, he does. He plays the guy who's the wedding couple.
In the first one, he's Eddie, and the second one, he's another character.
Yeah. And then Kevin Dunn, who's the principal.
Yep.
He's just in
He's been in heaps of stuff.
Everything.
Yeah, I didn't even go into him because I was like, there's so much.
But we haven't touched on, and this is probably the last one we'll touch on, Jennifer Morrison as Tess Conlon.
Yes.
She is classically beautiful.
Yes.
She is hard to take your eyes off her when she's on the screen.
Yeah, she's been in lots of stuff.
Yeah,
too.
she's a jobber. She's a TV jobber.
Yep.
Yeah, she's gotten into directing now as well.
Her first movie was Intersection in '94 with Richard Gere and Sharon Stone. She was the daughter of Richard Gere.
Okay.
But what else? She was in How I Met Your Mother. She had a recurring role in that as one of the love interests. She was on House MD. Did 130 episodes of that. Obviously, Warrior. Once Upon a Time. That's where I first came across her.
Yeah.
She's in a whole 137 episodes of that.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, we'll
Okay.
we'll move on from there. We've let's
Okay,
keep
I just want to go through the top 10 movies for the year because it's quite interesting. First movie, Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2, which is the last of the franchise. At number 1, Transformers Dark of the Moon at number 2, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides at number 3, Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, Kung Fu Panda 2, Fast 5, The Hangover 2, The Smurfs, Cars 2, Puss in Boots, Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows. The first 12 movies are all franchise. Not until we get to Rio, which is animated at
It's a
13 is
Pixar
the
film,
first
yeah.
is a Pixar film, which is the first individual. Then we go Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Thor, right? 2 more franchises. Now, one of the most underrated movies ever made is number 16, The Untouchables, which is the French film.
Really good.
Is
really good,
amazing,
yeah.
amazing
really
film.
good. Is that remade with Bryan
That was
Cranston
remade
and-
with
yeah.
and Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
But The Untouchables is one of the best movies you'll ever watch.
Yeah, very good.
This movie this year just reeks of franchise, and this is what is killing Hollywood, right? This is personification of the death of Hollywood.
This is where it's moved to. Yeah.
This is the.
I
this
didn't
is it.
realize it was that far back. Like over a dozen years ago, it was the fall had begun. I thought it was more recent, but wow.
But it's funny, you
Ugh.
get out of the top 20, and then we start having some original stories. You've got Real Steel, which is I really enjoy that. It's great for the kids.
Is
Hugh
that with
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, yeah,
They're
the
fighting robots.
fighting?
They're fighting robots.
right.
Really good fun. Bridesmaids, Super 8, which is excellent. J.J. Abrams. Rango. There's some good movies.
Horrible Bosses.
You got to go.
Horrible Bosses. is a
Oh,
funny
the
movie.
Bateman.
It's funny. Yeah.
Like you got to go deep, but there's some good movies in there. But it's a shame that the first 15 or so movies are just franchise.
Yeah. Well, look, when you go through all of those 2010, 2009, we've been through them before. There's so many movies. They're all just franchise movies. They're just big blockbuster, make money movies.
That's it. Okay. Let's move on to question time.
Sorry, can we just go back? Because I just want to talk about the best picture that year.
Oh, yeah. No, we need to do this. Yeah.
So, best
this
picture that year,
is one of the great travesty Oscar years in the history of the Oscars.
You'll have something to say with this. The Artist.
A
It was also
joke.
Best director and best actor for Jean Dujardin.
A joke.
Best actress was Meryl Streep in The Iron Lady.
That's fair enough. She wins everything she's in.
Now, the best supporting actor was Christopher Plummer in Beginners.
Okay. Have you ever seen Beginners?
I've never heard
Have
of
you
it.
heard of
Is that
Beginners?
yeah, that's with Ewan McGregor and the French chick out of Inglourious Bastards. Is that the one?
Mate, to be honest, I've never seen it.
I think
don't
I've
know
seen
anything
it.
about
And it's pretty good. It's pretty arty, so I can understand.
But
if it's the one I'm thinking about.
But okay, so Kenneth Branagh's in My Week with Marilyn is also nominated. Jonah Hill in Moneyball is nominated, which is a star turn, right? It's his first real crack at a dramatic role. Nick Nolte is in Warrior. How he does, in hindsight, how he doesn't win this, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, he's pretty good in it.
Mate, he's better than pretty good. He's better than pretty good. And
because I'm just trying to look down here that The Artist is nowhere in the money list.
Mate, it's a subtitled silent. Well, it's a silent film.
Yeah,
it's a silent film, and that's why it won, because it was something that had never been done before,
different.
right? But how does Jean Dujardin beat George Clooney? Is incredible in The Descendants, probably one of his best roles ever. But you've got Brad Pitt, who crushes it in Moneyball, and you've got Gary Oldman, who is like going at the speed of light in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy in a movie that's slow. I don't get it.
Like Moneyball came in at number 65 with 111 million. The Artist at number 61.
Yeah, we're close to Moneyball. I'll give you the tip. We're close to Moneyball here. Yeah, it's close. It's nearly Moneyball time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good movie.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Anyway, we'll have our own little Oscar party in the next couple of weeks when we do our Oscar movie. One of the great travesties in the history of Oscars that we'll cover.
The great travesty in the history of Oscars is the fact that I'm not on the fucking voting panel. Fuck you, Clyde.
We're actually putting a whole episode together on just that subject.
Yeah.
Okay, question time now. Yeah, this is squarely at you with your experience in this matter. 8 weeks to prep for Sparta. thoughts on that?
It's not a lot of time when they're saying you're fighting the best middleweights in the world in MMA.
Yeah.
For a guy that, Tommy's been in special ops and doing all of that, so he's always been fighting. He's fit, whereas Brendan Conlon's not. Brendan Conlon's teaching,
So we don't
and
even
fighting on the side, but not training hard. That's 8 weeks is not a lot of time to get yourself.
What
super
would
fit.
what would your Shitosi Sensei Mark Revel have done in this situation?
What would he have done?
Yeah.
What would he have said to you if you came to him and said,
I've got 8 weeks.
Shitoshi.
Yeah, Sensei.
Put me in Sparta.
I've got 8 weeks.
Shitoshi.
So you're in, let's set the scene for everyone. You're in Coloroy?
DY West.
DY West, okay.
DY West.
No, you're standing on the fence post at Plateau Park outside the fizzy gym.
No. We used to
fizzy gym / dojo.
Yeah, we were down at the Cromer Community Centre. We used to go outside and punch the wood. They used to put the wood into the pilings at the back, and we used to punch the wood with band-aids on it.
Which Carter did you select to punch the wood?
Well, no, you didn't do Carter. That was just practicing. That was bare knuckle hitting. That was hard stuff. But Sensei Grevel,
yeah,
he was my Shidoshi.
He was,
and he used to say the mind is your greatest weapon, and that's what he always said to us.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, mate. Well, would that have been the advice he would have given Brandon Conlon?
Well, would have. I mean, he was to say, if you're preoccupied with a single leaf, you won't see the tree. Now, just let that sink in. And think about that for Brendan Conlon. Because, guys, karate and MMA, it's all around us. It has its own energy or life force.
I'm loving this, yeah.
The energy goes up and down and around.
Oh, right. Okay. Well done.
It's circular,
It's circular.
All
right,
good things.
Okay.
So you got to feel the flow of it.
Yeah.
You got to harness the good, block the bad.
Block the bad. Harness the good, block
Harness
the bad.
good, block bad.
I reckon, just quietly from what you've just told me then, I reckon your Shitosi Sensei Mark Revel would have been tied in knot like a fucking pretzel and had his head shoved up his own bum by midnight.
Oh, that's a little different. That's karate against MMA, and there's no way that anyone that does one discipline like that is going to fight someone like Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Did you guys, on a side note, did you guys watch the Australian MMA superstar, the number 1 pound for pound guy, Alex Volkanovski? His fight recently.
Yep,
isn't he amazing?
So he's unbelievable. So he came up and he was doing quite well. He lost a couple of early fights, and then he just hit his straps, and he's beaten so many guys, and he's cleaned out the featherweight division in the UFC, and then he was going up a division. He's going against a guy that's bigger than him. And he almost takes him out. And that guy, Islam Makhachev, is like the next big thing. The next big thing in UFC, and he almost took him out.
I don't prescribe to be a master in this area, but is his nickname the Volcano? By any chance of the imagination?
Alexander the Great.
Alexander the Great.
Oh, mate, it should be the Volcano. It should be the Volcano.
Yeah.
He's going to erupt all over you. Okay.
Mate, and he's not a big guy.
He's not. I've seen him. He doesn't look that big. Okay, so look, I understand that Tommy's got some shit going on. He's seen some stuff. He's done some stuff. But is he just an asshole?
Yeah, Tommy. Well, you go the full ride with Tommy. He comes in and he's not a happy camper. But you can tell underneath. Obviously, they get to the backstory of how he saved his mates while he was deserting.
Yeah,
showing that he'd had enough of that, but he still he's still got the brotherhood, and he's still searching. He comes back to see, the first thing he does is come back to see his dad, who he hates.
Yeah.
So he's still searching for something in there. But yeah, he doesn't mince his words.
No, he doesn't.
At all.
No, he's pretty average.
Puts the old man back on the ship with Ahab, that's for sure.
Man, how good is that first scene though, where he turns up to the gym? So how does it work around here? Fitzy still in? I don't know, no Fitzy, man. And then in he goes, so $35 a month, which I thought was very reasonable. Very reasonable for combat sports training, yeah. And then he gets in there with old mate
Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Is this guy signed to Weaver?
He's good.
That's one of the
best. He's good.
That was one of my good. That whole scene,
yeah.
When he just knocks him out, and then he just calls the manager over and goes, "You owe me $200," and then just walks out.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
that just sets the tone for him as the character in the movie, right? The whole thing, because he just is no nonsense. He's like,
he eats shits and leaves. He's a koala.
Yeah,
he's a koala.
I'm in and out here, and this is all about the money because he just wants the money for his mate's wife.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, exactly. He's an onion. He's Shrek. You peel back the layers and he's a sweetheart, but there's some rough exterior.
Yeah.
What's the go with the principal? So the principal sacks him and then he essentially sucks him off. What's it going to be, mate? What's it going to be? Go to bat for him and go, mate, it annoyed me.
So
he couldn't at the start, right? Because he's saying like down comes the district superintendent, and I'm in trouble here because you've gone out and you come with bruises, and everyone knows you're fighting, right? So the district, because it's a public high school, they're going to come down on him, but he does turn good for him.
Well, no, sorry. So the guy can't afford his house, so he sacks him without pay. Fuck you, principal.
Well, he didn't do that. He didn't do that.
He didn't go to bat for him either, though.
The district did it.
Didn't go to bat for him.
Mini quickfire. He's my choice for Ripley running for his appalling cheerleading in his lounge room when he's telling his wife how good Brendan Conlon's going.
Yeah.
The guy has no gross motor skills.
No, he's not. He's not good. He's not good. Okay, last question before we get into the categories. In Sparta, does Mad Dog die in the ring after what Tommy does to him in Sparta? So he wails him in the gym and then just does not stop punching him after he gives him that clothesline and knocks him out. That's death in the ring.
Josh Rosenthal really didn't do his job well there. They didn't bring him across well at all.
They just let him keep going.
Yeah. And there's no way a referee stops in that late, especially when the guy's out in the ground. But yeah, he got about 8 or 9 unanswered shots.
It's like he dies. He dies there.
Is he a real fighter?
For a long time.
Yeah, is he a real fighter or is he just an actor?
No, I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. Not of any great level.
Yeah, got it.
All right, well done. That's it for question time. Now we're going to move into the categories. And for now, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm going to start with you, G. What do you got for good?
Okay, we went through my good. That first scene when Tommy knocks out the fighter in the gym, that just sets it for me. It really sets that tone. Love that scene. I remember when I first watched it, I was like, oh, if you weren't already hooked on the movie, I was like, oh, this is on.
No,
this is good, right?
You are in.
And this character is so brooding and bad, and you're just like, right, you've got all of my attention here. I know you guys are going to go through. You'll talk about Nick Nolte and how good he is in the role. And look, Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton both are really, really good. You know, in their separate characters. You know, they do so well in this movie. So mine was really, I'll leave them, but the interaction between, like the first interaction between Tommy and his dad is just so brutal and bad. And you can just see so much hatred and bitterness and betrayal there. And that comes across, like that really comes across. And even the first scene with Brendan and his dad when Pops turns up at his house.
Megan walked in while that was going and she goes, "What's he done?" And I go, "Just watch and listen." Because she only heard the Brandon side of it. And then if you sit and watch, just give it a minute and you'll find out what he's done. And then you'd find out that he's obviously alcoholic and you know, bashed his mum and blah, 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 blah. And they obviously made an ass of himself 3 years ago and da-da-da-da. But you're right. The pain in both of those boys, like they're broken, man.
And that's the thing. So, you know, that scene, you can imagine that being an actual conversation when Brendan has that with his dad at the front. That's something that you could see happening.
But when he breaks down, when he sees the grandkids like Nick Nolte, man, there's about 5 scenes which are like, they've gone, let's just put 5 Oscar scenes in this movie. And they're all going to star Nick Nolte. And it's that quintessential bit of a trope where it's an Oscar scene. You're doing your Oscar monologue. And how he didn't win blows me away.
Yeah. But that just the dynamic between all three of them. And even when the brothers finally get together, like
that's brutal. God, that's brutal.
Tommy is so, you know, he's so hurt by that. And you know, and then you're getting the backstory about how he left with the mum and then he left them and stayed with the wife, the girlfriend at the time. But just that interaction between all of them, it's just so realistic and so powerful. Right. And even, you know, back at the house when he's saying, can't we just open the lines of communication? He's like, you got 2 lines.
Yeah.
You got the phone, you got the post office. Yeah. Like he's just not having him. And you can just see, you know, you just think to yourself, how bad must this have been without them going back through the whole story and developing it. You're just going, he's been really bad.
I think that's one of the strengths of the movie is that, again, it's this movie that doesn't play us for fools.
Yeah.
We don't need to explain this stuff. You can tell. You know there's pain. You can see it. They don't have to go back and go, well, A, B, C, D became Z. they're not thinking we're idiots. We'll figure it out. You can see.
Tommy makes a few comments to him, in that first scene too, and he's like, "Oh, I guess you can't find a woman that doesn't take your shot these days." And
super quote.
I know, but then just Nick Nolte sitting there and just you can see him just taking it and going,
well, he has
"There's
to,
nothing I can say." There's nothing, but that's just so powerful as well. Like he doesn't arc up at it. He just knows, right?
Mate, it only gets better when and we'll continue on that. But you got anything more?
No, not for good. That's my good.
Dan, what about you, mate?
Yeah, I totally agree. I also had the two protagonists in the story. So as an audience, we're not sure who we're rooting for. Is it Brendan Conlon or is it Tommy Conlon? Which I think is a really brilliant plot technique that it's not uncommon, but it works really well. Gavin O'Connor, the director, has done an amazing job in here. We didn't really talk a lot about Gavin O'Connor, but he's sports movie royalty. Like he's done this. He also did the original Miracle with our favourite Kurt Russell. And he was the one who looked at that story and said, look, this has got to be about Herb, the coach. It's this is the story I want to tell. So he's got a real gift for, elevating the sport genre film into something a lot more and just exploring character, which it's not always as nuanced as Gao can attest to in quite a few of his 80s kung fu flicks. It's definitely not top of mind when the director's writing his scenes, that's for sure. So I think he did a great job. He also married Brooke Burns, who is a 19 out of 10. So well done, Gavin O'Connor there, who's a bit of a dorky looking dude, but
he's JJ Riley. He's the promoter in the movie.
Yes, he does. He does a bit in that film. Look, I don't think he does much with that role. I think he's probably just licking himself out with that a bit. But
no, well, I think there was him and one of the other producers said, I'll only do it if you do it. It was Anthony Tambakis. I think they said, they both had a role in the movie.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nothing role, but he's fine. Oh. But finally, good. You've already touched on it, but Nick fucking Nolte, fuck the Academy. This is why I've got beef with the Academy at the moment. One, for this absolute travesty with Nick Nolte, and two, with the fact that I'm sitting on the land rather over lapping up award season at the moment with your mate, because everything, everywhere, all at once seems to be sweeping all of the awards season, Gauss. So your mate Rounders is cutting absolute sick, and I should be there with him on the piss, cutting sick myself, but I'm not. So fuck the Academy. Fucking well done, Nick Nolte.
And I know Rounders will have something to say next week after this.
Sure.
Because this is one of his favourites. But yeah, we'll wait and see what comes from him.
Yeah, look, I can't say anything more about Nick Nolte, but let's talk about one scene. And the scene where he finds Tommy at the pokies, and he goes, "I'm really trying here," and he just starts throwing the coins at him, and
one of them sits on his collar and just sits there.
The absolute heartbreak you can see in his face, that that he's off.
This
the
is
wagon.
just making me angry. We need to stop talking about this.
Yeah,
he is so good in this.
From there, we'll go to then the next scene, which is drunk acting at its best. And we have a laugh a lot about people that have never drunk before acting drunk in movies in Hollywood. Tom Cruise is one of the best. But Nick Nolte, I think Morg said this afternoon, the only thing that would make it more realistic is if he'd actually shit his pants while he was doing the scene. Now, he actually he probably was drunk when he did this scene. Like, it is incredible. It is so, again, like low-key. It is brutally heartbreaking. And then Tommy... It's funny, the two times that Tommy breaks, he either gets broken or he breaks someone, and they're the two times that he breaks. So that's just amazing. I think the handheld camera work in this movie is phenomenal.
It's good because it's not like the Bourne films that make me want to puke when I'm watching it, even on a small screen.
Yeah, but they also use it. They also use it, I think, to gloss over the fact that these guys aren't fighters, right? So there's a lot of close-in shots, and a lot of critics use that as a negative. But I see that as plenty of strengths.
There's fight scenes in this film. You would never know that Joel Edgerton, unless you were an absolute fight nerd, that these guys aren't fighters. It is shot brilliantly. They look the part. They look like they should be in the ring. They've focused on the easy skills that they can do, striking skills, some setups with the grappling that they do. Like, they don't try and make them do things that they just couldn't possibly compete with. I think it's fantastic.
Well, it's really good because they get Tom Hardy to be the guy that's knocking people out, and and his brother's a grappler, and his brother's making submissions.
It's believable.
It's very believable because a lot of fights are like that where and especially, a lot of these guys these days doing that are very well rounded in all different disciplines. But back then you had a lot of guys, and Hoist Gracie was, he was the one that was in UFC 1, and he was just a grappler, and he couldn't fight his way out of a punch out of his way out of a bag, but he got a hold of someone and they're tapping.
And I think that's the thing that makes it realistic to me, is that physically that it looks like Brandon's not going to be able to compete. But if he gets that one move, that it's game over. And I think that was because if he tried to make him a striker, or they tried to make him be like, a beast, it just wouldn't have worked. Yeah.
So he was very good in some of his transitions in the grappling. I watched closely, and
so
he's actually trained really well, because they trained with one of the coaches, Mike.
They did.
Mike Jackson.
Yeah, they lived with him.
Sorry,
I lived with him
Mike
during the making of the
Jackson.
movie. So I also had that. How good are fucking drive-ins? What a way to watch the final fight with the whole school in the drive-in. Thought that was unreal.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay, so let's move into the bad.
Greg Jackson, not Mike Jackson. It was Mike Winklejohn and Greg Jackson. They got their own academy.
Okay, so the bad. We'll start with you, Dan. What do you got for bad?
The fucking school kids and their shit signs at that drive-in you were just looking at. What? That was the only time Gavin O'Connor and his team dropped the ball. Like, they were appalling. Go, Mr. C. Like, no, I'm sorry. Americans don't do sarcasm, but they're also not lame enough to come up with those signs. They were unnecessary. We get that the kids love his teacher. The audience is not stupid, i.e. us. You didn't need those lame-ass signs. And there are also a few in the fight when they're doing Sparta as well. And I was like, guys, no one brings signs like this. Like, maybe a WWE audience.
I was going to say, it's not WWE.
Only because they're a little mentally unstable, most of the attendees, and buy into the fact that it's a little realer than possibly it is. But yeah, that was it. I struggled to find bad for this movie, but on the revisit, I just went, oh my God, that just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, do you think that they needed one of those school kids to do a big speech and then everyone claps at the end?
Oh, God. If they'd done
they needed a slow
clap would have killed it. A slow clap would have killed it, definitely. What about you, G?
Look, my bad. Little technical. There's a lot of good stuff, and we talked about the fighting. There's a few in there, like when Cobra comes in and starts pulling out wrestling slams. That just doesn't happen.
The
suplexes and things like that. It just doesn't
fucking
happen.
Smashes him.
Yep, hammers him 3 times.
Kurt Angle went to WWE for a while, did he?
Yeah, for a long time. No, well, he was a gold medal wrestler.
Yeah.
And then he came out, and then he went to WWE after that, and he stayed there for his
He was a
whole
world
time.
champion. He was a world champion.
He's not. He wasn't a UFC guy. He was right. Okay.
No.
He's actually
look,
he's a WWE
Olympic wrestler.
guy. Yes.
Yeah, he was an Olympic wrestler. Look, I don't know with his pedigree as a wrestler. He could have turned to MMA, because quite a few guys have done that. Whether he could make the transition, some have done it successfully, but it's hard to do. But yeah, he
got the big bucks,
mate. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
As a wrestler, I think he only ever lost like a couple of matches.
Yeah.
He's excellent.
Look, that was really it for my bad. We sort of covered the bad parts of the movie there.
I've really got one. I've talked about the principal. He annoyed me. I've talked that Tommy's a bit of hard work and the 8 weeks. Okay. No one throws their mobile phone off a mountain when someone's injured and they're fucking miles from nowhere. Yeah. Old Frank Grillo. And you don't know why until it pans down and you see that the guy who's the Sparta entry has busted his knee. Why do you throw your phone? You need your phone, pal. They're going to call you back. Someone's going to call you.
What injury do you think he did to his knee? Because he was carrying on, and the injuries like that don't hurt. Like it's just.
I have that. Another one in quickfire for the Ripley is that who injures themselves like that badly running up a hill?
Yeah, like fair enough if he's done a cruciate ligament, but it's not going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's just going to just be stabbed.
Oh no! Remember David Kidwell when he was playing for South? Did it? Tripped over he was cooking a barbie at home, tripped over his kid and did his cruciate. Was out for the season.
Yeah.
at a Sunday barbie.
See that what we may not have seen is that maybe Brandon just sort of swept the leg.
Yeah, sweep the leg.
Maybe that's the evil.
It could have been some targeted kicking in the gym before that.
Evil Brandon.
Look, I do have one bad. Oh, sorry, we'll go to Morgs first.
Morgs done.
No, I'm done. Yeah, school kids shit signs.
Oh, that's right. Mine was, look, just thinking about it was, this is the biggest MMA tournament in the world. $5 million purse, 10 of the best, people in the world. And you've got Cobra, who's the world number one, who's loosely based on Fedor Emelianenko, who was unbeaten at that stage. And then Brendan Conlon, who, by his coach's admission, is just a 500 fighter.
At best.
And he's not actually fighting at the moment. He's fighting, in car parks. there's no way he's going to get a spot. When there's 10 people, there's so many people around the world vying for that spot, and they go, "We're going to give it to," because you say he should come in, and he's a guy with a spotty record. It's not going to happen.
No, I know.
But ananyway,
Well,
we got to make the story.
We'll suspend belief for that one. Okay, we got anything for ugly?
No.
No, that's really it.
I've got Nolte not winning the Oscar. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Worse. Okay, now we're going to move into Morgs's Quickfire.
Yes, my F-witted friends, let's do quickfire really quickly this week. First category, that's not a knife. Mick Dundee, Crocodile Dundee, for a scene from the movie that's passed over into popular culture. I think this is still under the radar for anything really.
Nothing.
To pass through. Yeah, nothing. Gow, you agree?
No, nothing. Yeah,
nothing.
Philip Stuckey in Pretty Woman, Jason Alexander for the biggest douchebag in the film. I've got mine, and it is the bank guy that Joel Edgerton goes to see, and he explains about his daughter's just had a heart transplant, and the guy says, stories. There's always so many stories.
There's so many stories.
I wanted to just brilliant. He plays it brilliantly. I wanted to reach through my Sony screen and punch him in the face. It was fantastic.
Okay. What about when he says, what he says to him? He goes, "Have you thought about foreclosure?" No stigma with that these days.
Yeah, bankruptcy.
Who says that to someone? Bankruptcy, sorry, yeah.
Look, I've got to say one thing. Do you know that he is also 1 degree of Kurt Russell?
Oh, go.
He's Noah Emmerich.
Yeah.
And he's in Miracle.
Okay. He's one of the dissenting board members or coaches, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he just plays douchebags all the time. So.
Yeah. So there you go. So
well done. He does a great job. Next one's the cast of Caddyshack for actors that have no idea what movie they're in and think they may be in another movie. No one really stood out for me here. Any of you guys?
The cast isn't deep enough for that anyone really beat off the rails a bit. Like
they stick with the characters.
Yeah. The fighters they keep at a distance. There's no real lines for the.
Maybe
the
Mad,
fighters, like they're in
Mad
there.
Dog, maybe.
Mad Dog a little bit.
Mad Dog's a little over the top.
Yeah.
But I also had him for the biggest dick as well.
Yeah.
I also thought, look, just the commentators between Brian Callen and Sam Sheridan, just some of the commentary they came up with is not something like if this is a big event and they're the commentators, they're not going to talk down some of these people. They're going to be talking them up and saying how they've got a chance and how this guy's done this and done that. So I know that that's some of the background that because they're trying to fit it in to make the storyline, but some of that to me was a little bit. It's not really going to be like that.
That's your combat sports background, Gow. You just don't stand for that shit.
Well, no.
Make it real or go home.
Ripley running, next category for a scene from the movie showing off particularly poor athletic prowess, a la our favourite Sigourney Weaver in Aliens. Anything here? I've already spoken about the principal and his fucking shit little jig that he does in his lounge room. He looks like an absolute space cadet. Anything from you guys?
I've just got the guy doing his knee, running up the hill.
Yeah.
That's it.
Keep running up that hill.
Nice.
Boom. Good track, Gow.
Well done, Gow.
No, I don't have anything for that. We look, all of it was pretty good in there. I thought that it was pretty realistic. Some of those fight scenes.
I think we need to pause and say, as a sports movie, that's excellent because we can recoil in horror at some of the shows of athletic prowess in other sports movies where they're using actors instead of athletes. But I think that overall they do a great job in this. And my voice just got very sexy.
Thanks, Demi Moore.
Oh.
Okay, well. Jesus Christ. Phyllis Diller.
It's to me. I can have another sip of beer. That'll fix it. Hang on. Next one, again, from the movie Aliens, of the director's cut this time. If you haven't seen it, they stick in a scene with the robot sentries, which just show how many of those fucking aliens are coming at them. It's brilliant. It tells us a little bit more about the predicament that they're in. Is there a scene in this you would have liked to see more of?
Maybe a bit about the history, maybe a bit about the fighting history of the two boys.
Yep. They didn't delve much into the dad relationship either. Like they didn't really.
I don't mind that.
Need to, but
I think it might have been good to have seen the two boys fighting because they're both fighters.
Yep.
But really, to be honest, for a movie that goes for 2 hours and 24, there's not a lot of bullshit in this movie.
No, not a heap. Not a heap. It flows pretty well.
Yeah, I didn't need to see any more. I think that you mentioned it before, Whitey, that the director doesn't treat us like an idiot as an audience. He gives us just enough so that we know what's going on. I didn't need to see any more. I think that you're fucking wrong. Last one is Whitey's Brad Pitt for actors out of the film that you would like to have special relations with in a romantic fashion. Obviously, Joel Edgerton's wife in the film is stunning. Plims, you don't need to have enormous fats to be a 10. Anyone else from you guys?
No.
Yeah, I've got one. I've got Ring Girl 3, the girl that brings out the 3 for the Ring Girl for round 3. She's stunning. Brunette, tall.
Was it round 3?
It was round 3.
It's
burnt on my brain.
You've been quite into chicks the last few films, Paddy. I've noted.
Yeah, look, I think
there's some athletic men.
There was, but they're a bit too bearish for me. Like, there's only room for one bear in my bedroom. That's me.
Yes, there is. Anyway, that was quick fire. Well done.
Okay, now we'll move into listen to this. Gal, what have you got?
I've got a couple. We've hit most of these. Obviously, in a movie like this, there's a lot of action, a lot of guys, fighting with each other and a lot of fight scenes. But Joel Edgerton tore his MCL in the cage during production in this movie, and that stopped the movie for 6 weeks. Tom Hardy had a broken toe, broken ribs, and a broken finger. So
pretty amazing. It was only 6 weeks. Like, that's pretty tough.
Yeah.
MCLs, that's a lot of stability gone.
Well, it is. Maybe that's why they had a lot of him when he was, on the ground and wrestling and grappling more so than fighting after that.
Yeah.
But but broken ribs and doing some of those scenes, that's hard.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've broken ribs and it's not fun at all.
Tom Hardy seemed to put on a lot of muscle. Like, he looked steroid muscle for this. So
he's on Hugh Jackman's diet.
He was bulky, yeah. Like, Joel
What about the shoulder traps?
Realistic, yeah. Yes, yeah. He had some
There's massive shoulder traps.
Yeah.
He does, but he doesn't actually. He's got massive traps, but he doesn't have big shoulders.
No.
He's got these huge traps, and then it's like brown snake shoulders.
Mm.
It's funny. He's got a funny body. I look because I look at the bodies of men.
There you go.
Yeah. When I'm not looking at delicious round 3 models.
Or Jennifer Morrison.
Yeah, there we go. For this episode, anyway. Okay, what about on the first day? This is how good Nick Nolte was. On the first day of shooting, they did a scene in a cafe, and the whole cast stood up and applauded his performance. They left that on the cutting room floor. Didn't make the final cut of the
Really?
Yeah.
So he just took it to another level, old nut tuck.
Yeah.
So good. What about, I said that Brian Callen's MMA commentator is based on a Spotify brother in Joe Rogan to us.
A loose version of Joe Rogan.
And they're buds anyway. They do a lot of MMA commentating together anyway.
Yeah.
Because he's a commentator as well, yeah. He's good. So apparently on before his audition, Tom Hardy didn't go to his hotel, turned up at Gavin O'Connor's house at midnight and knocked on the door.
Yeah.
And then he lived with him for 5 days after, then got the job.
Yeah, a whole heap of Frank Grillo and
they all
Gavin
lived
O'Connor
together.
lived together for quite a bit of it.
Yeah. Sounds like it would have been a bit of fun.
Yeah.
That would have been all on the gear.
Caddyshack all over.
It would have been Caddyshack all over, no doubt. They actually used the suplexes for Cobra because that was Kurt Angle's main move in the WWE. So they just brought that in as a bit of a homage.
There's not many suplexes you see, and the couple that you do see, people get knocked out.
Wow, it's powerful. He smashes him. How does he not? Again, it's like,
that's not going to happen.
How does he get up? Like, there's no way.
Yeah,
you're winded for a month.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
You're winded for a month. Don't even start with the head knock. You're going to HIA. Got any more, G-Man?
No, that's it.
That's all right. Well done. I've done 1 degree of Kurt Russell, Noah Emmerich, and we'll move into quotables. Now, there's not a heap of quotables in this movie, but there's some amazing monologues and passages. But have you got any, Gow?
Yeah, I've got a couple here that I really liked. One was when Brendan's talking to Frank, his trainer, Frank Campana, and he's trying to get him when he talks about getting to Sparta, and he says to him, "I know this isn't a great time, and it's too bad about Marco, but what about me? Talking about Sparta, Brendan, please. You got a better chance of starting a boy band." Obviously, you owe me $200. That was great.
Yeah, I loved Brian Callen after Tommy just destroys Mad Dog, and he goes, "I'll tell you what, you do that to someone on the street, and they'd lock you up and throw away the key. Break out the yellow tape, Sam. Tommy's walking away from the cage like he's leaving a crime scene." Yeah. That was awesome.
Very good.
That was awesome. Yeah, there's not much. Like Brendan, Frank Grillo as Brendan, as Frank, his Campana is really, really good. I love it when he pops his shoulder, when Brandon pops Tommy's shoulder, and he comes back to the corner, he's really conflicted. And Brandon goes, I popped his shoulder. And Frank's like, relax, breathe. And he goes, I heard it tear. He goes, you popped his shoulder? Good. Now I want you to pop his other one.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just finish it.
Yeah.
It was really good.
So a lot of that was Greg Jackson. So Greg Jackson suggested all of this to Frank Grillo, and a lot of that is his wording. You know, a lot of the comments out of his corner were things that came out of Greg Jackson's mouth.
Yeah. All right. Well, I reckon that's probably about it. I know that Dan up there on the land is prepping for what's coming next, which is film school. For F-wits. Take it away, Dan.
Thank you, gentlemen. Yes, everyone's favourite segment, film school for all of us F-wits. And this week I alluded to it earlier because I just love the end of this film. And the National is a band that supplies the track for the final scene. It's called About Today. And the backstory for that is Gavin O'Connor and his producing cohorts actually, that this is the song that they wanted to end the film with. So they actually wrote the final scene to the beats of that particular song, so it made it fit the song, which I just think is incredible. And the way that it just lifts throughout, and they treat the song a bit so that it has a bit more of an upswell at the end, and it's just amazing. It's just the perfect track to end the film and give it the gravitas. Like this isn't a kick-ass film. You don't need to buy into the machismo or any of that of the fighters. Like this is heavy shit. And we want to root for both the protagonists in Brian and Tommy at the end. So I think that it conveys all the emotion that's part of this incredible scene. So I really fucking love it. But there's 9 others that I really fucking love too. So I'm just going to take you through it. But I'm not going to tell you what the films are. You've just got to guess what they are. So this is in no particular order. But the first one's Edward Norton and Helena Bonham Carter. He tells her he's going through a bit of a weird time in his life. I mean, do you fucking think? They start staring out the window as the buildings collapse around them, and then the Pixies kicks in with Where Is My Mind? And that's, of course, Fight Club. And, oh, my God, I love the Pixies, but just the use of that track as the buildings start to drop and the movie fades out. David Fincher, what an incredible use of music in this time, and I think that is completely iconic. Boys, are you Fight Club final scene fans?
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, one of my favourites. This one probably not as favourite to you guys as it is to me, but Bill Murray's riding off in a town car. He spots Scarlett Johansson on a Tokyo street. He gets out of the car and he follows her. Hey, you. They embrace. He whispers something in her ear. We don't know what he says. Then they kiss, and my heart melts. He says goodbye. She cries. Bill Murray is a fucking boss, so fuck off. Drum start, and it's the Jesus and Mary chain with Just Like Honey. Of course, Sofia Coppola's absolute masterpiece, Lost in Translation, with the Jesus and Mary chain playing Just Like Honey. Boys, is that one of your favourites or not?
No, I don't like the movie. It's boring. So I don't think I even got to the last scene.
Not in my repertoire, Morgs.
You're both...
But I'm sure we'll cover it at some stage, and we can give it a great rating like Can't Buy Me Love.
You're both actual fuckwits. We will move on. So, next film is Ryan Gosling in a car. He's staring into space. He's looking very fuckable. Synths kick in. It's an 80s synth. The lyrics kick in. And a real hero, real human being. He drives off. Albert Brooks, the gangster, is dead on the ground. He's a funny choice for a gangster. A funny Jewish man. Carey Mulligan is looking very pixie amazing girl and knocking on his door looking for him, but he's not there. He drives off like a sick cunt. The movie's Drive, and the band is College and Electric Youth, and the song is A Real Hero. I fucking love Drive. Do you guys dig Drive?
Drive's a great movie. Fucking violent.
Yeah, it's great.
But the whole, that soundtrack was a favourite of mine back in the day, around about the same time as this one. And I just think that use of that track just encapsulates the whole film. And I can listen to College and Electric Youth, A Real Hero, anytime. All right, we're ramping it up a bit. This one you're going to get pretty quickly, but I'm just going to dive a bit further into it. Renton Begbie, Sick Boy and Spud sell their heroin and have a fat stack of cash. They're all after the deal and sleeping in a hotel room together. The music kicks in. Drive boy, dive boy, dirty numb angel boy, in the doorway boy, she was a lipstick boy, she was a beautiful boy. Renton looks at himself in the mirror. He's going to do something shit. He slowly prizes the loot out of the sleeping psychopath Begbie. Let your feelings slip, boy, but never your mask, boy. Random blonde bio, high density. Random blonde boy, blonde country blonde, high density. You are my drug boy, you're real boy. Begbie goes fucking nuts in the hotel room. The cops come. The cops come. Shouting, lager, 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 shouting, lager, 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 shouting, lager, 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 shouting, mega, mega wide thing, mega, mega wide thing. Enough! Of course, it's Trainspotting, but it's Born Slippy by the mighty Underworld. Wow, wow, wow. Come on, you must enjoy that melding of incredible music and amazing scene. Go!
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good
always
one.
love that. That's a great ending to that movie. Cracker.
I was late to Trainspotting. I wasn't big on the drug movie, sort of making it seem cool. But when you watch Trainspotting a couple of times, you realise it's not what it's doing.
No, I don't think it is.
No, it's not at all.
It's just full on brutal.
Yeah, it's like, do not do this.
Yeah.
It's full on.
Yes.
Anyone who dives into that toilet.
Oh, the shitter in Scotland. Awesome. But yeah, what a track. What an incredible final scene. Another one you guys, I know you've seen. So Joan Allen says, why don't you come in? And Matt Damon says, get some rest, Pam. You look tired. And then, extreme ways are back again. Extreme places I didn't know. It's, of course, Moby Extreme Ways. Just the absolute killer conclusion to all of the Bourne films. But yeah, I was thinking back on tracks that I really loved, thinking about those films, which they're not my favourite films. I like them. I trip out a bit because of the handheld camera shaky bit, but that is just such an iconic track and such a great use of it. So I think had to be included in the list.
Well done.
Nice work.
I won't go into the details of the last four, but I just very quickly, The Breakfast Club, Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me, as Judd Nelson punches the air. Amazing track. They all hated each other, this band of misfits, and they come together as mates, probably hanging out in first period on Monday, maybe not. Excellent use of that track. Simple Minds made a lot of freight out of that particular track.
Still making freight from it. Still making
so
freight.
Judd Nelson wasn't supposed to do that. There was something else. They had something else.
It was
in
a
mind.
slow clap. He was going to do a slow clap.
He was going to do a speech. He was going to do a speech to the Oval on his own. But no, there was something else he was going to do. He was either just going to walk past the camera or he was going to do something else. And then he just ad-libbed the fist in the air, which just is really iconic and ends that movie so well. You're right, Morgs. That's
Don't
forget about me. I had to include this as well, and I really do like this film, and I haven't seen it for a while. I used to watch it a lot, but Eminem, of course, concluding his own film, his own star turn, whereas in every fucking scene as his first go as an actor. Lose Yourself. What an incredible track.
Yeah.
What an Oscar. Absolutely amazing. Look, it just had to be included. Final two, going back to The Graduate, and on the bus, they've just run away from the church.
Is that? It's not Mrs. Robinson. It's
no.
Is it Mrs. Robinson? No, it's not. It's
that's in the movie.
That's in the movie, but no. Simon and Garfunkel, The Sound of Silence.
It is Simon and Funkel's Sense of Silence. It is.
Right.
Yes.
Hello, darkness,
Good
my old
song.
friend. Yeah, look, what they're just on the back of the bus, like looking like what
On the back of the
actual
bus,
fuck have we done? And in kicks this iconic Simon and Garfunkel track. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Mike Nichols, well played, you. Finally, the last one, a bit of a crowd pleaser. Ed Rooney. He's on the bus. Rooney Eats It is written on the back of the bus. A chick with glasses offers him bubblegum, and Yellow with "Oh Yeah" is playing to conclude the movement. What a great track!
That's a cracker.
It's a post script to that film as well. So Ferris, of course, won the day and got away with everything. But then we just see poor old Ed Rooney at the end, and this song kicking in, iconic song, passed over into pop culture. That's it. They're my favourites. Any that you guys thought of that I missed?
No, I think you've covered a lot of them, mate. We think we'd leave this one open to you. I think you've crushed it.
Look, Morgs, you did miss one. You
Go,
did miss one.
Go.
Paul Gilreath, vocals by Joe Torono. You missed "Stand on Your Own," the end of "No Retreat, No Surrender." The final song as they cue out. Stand on your own.
I think that, I purposely left in credit song tracks. This was more the final scene. This is to wrap up the movie. But yes, Gow, and No Retreat, No Surrender would top most movie song credit lists for sure. Well done. That's me. Good work, F-Wits.
Yeah, good. Very elaborate again, Daniel.
Nice work.
You're getting quite good at this. Okay. Now, from one quality segment to the next, Stan Bush kick-ass credits, and a nice segue from Dan's end credit songs in film school for F-Wits. We're going to go to I'm on the Block. It was supposed to be Dan, but he got a bit lazy because he obviously was looking up 17 songs that finished. He's very busy up on the land, I know.
I put all my effort into the film school this week, but I was riffing on something about Gavin O'Connor batting above his weight with Brooke Burns. But I just couldn't get the hook, so that's why I threw it out there and said, look, if anyone else is having a crack, and M. White Esquire stood up, so let's hear some insights into your Stan Bush kick-ass credit song.
All right, so I put something together quite quickly. It's called Hero to Some. I know that Gow may have half a song that we may tack on the end here, just as a little bit of a Easter egg for this episode. But this is about Tommy. He's a hero to some, and it's quite broody. This and I'm sure I'm going to fuck it up at some stage. So just bear with me. But for you guys who are listening to this, it'll all be one take. Okay, here we go. Sand's not for the faint-hearted. His only brothers are wearing green. On the run from the Navy, he's born a fighting machine. He hooks up with the old man, he hopes to make him a fighting queen. It won't be long till his secret's out. He'll bring the world to its knees. He's a hero to some, but an asshole to most. If he gets you in the octagon, he'll turn you to toast. So his older brother Brandon fell in love and stayed at home, shacked up with his old man. Now he's a father of his own. He's got hatred inside 'cause his best mate just died. It got rained down from the heavens by the guys from his side. He's a hero to some, but an asshole to most. If he gets you in the octagon, he'll turn you to toast. He's a hero to some, but an asshole to most. If he gets you in the octagon, you're fucking toast.
Yeah, nice. Good song. Good song.
What was the line about him being a fighting queen?
Yeah, well, yeah. I was going to say something else, but it's good. I'll just go with Queen.
Excellent.
It doesn't fit, anyway.
You're back to form. That was, I could see that as closing out a song over the credits. So well done. Yeah, that's a top
good
5
song.
experience for me. Well done.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed the clapping and the clicking, Dan.
Yeah,
it really made me. I felt it.
Oh God, I was just feeling it. Up on the land.
This is it.
Sam's probably going to get one to that later on tonight. Yeah.
The nooner at night.
The nooner. The night nooner.
The 9 p.m. nooner.
Night nooner.
Night nooning. Okay, so G-Man, you gonna try something, or
no, we can save it.
Okay, we'll save that one. Okay, so let's move into star of the show. We'll start with you up on the land there, Dan. Who you got?
Oh, I find it so hard to go past. I think the whole ensemble is excellent. I think it was cast extremely well, but I just cannot go past Nick Nolte. Like, there's just it is an absolute blood-boiling travesty that this was not recognised with an Academy Award. He is fucking brilliant. I think everyone's great in the film, but Nick Nolte is just a standout. Nick Nolte, you are my MVP.
G-Man?
It's hard to go past that. We've covered it in spades here tonight. Yeah, look, as I said before, the whole interaction between the three of them separately is really, really good, and Nick Nolte is a major, major part of that, so I'm happy to stay with him too. Well done, Nick.
Well, it's a triple threat. I'm going with Nicholas Nolte as well. He's fucking unbelievably good in this movie. In a movie that's full of pretty good performances, he's an absolute standout, and it's a fucking joke that he didn't win the Oscar. Anyway, we'll get over that. Let's slide into the rank bank. And we've got a few to choose from here. Let me hear what you think on. It's tight, this one, because it's such a serious movie. It's hard to find anything that's sort of bad. Okay, so we've got submissions, brotherly beatdowns, books on tape, legit drunk scenes, dysfunctional families, or nut tucks.
I'll have to go with nut tucks.
Oh no, I think nut tucks too obscure. I think legit drunk scenes is more relevant.
Okay,
but nut tucks
good
is
work.
bloody funny though. So thank you.
Well, I just had okay. So, how many legit drunk scenes are you giving Warrior Daniel?
Everybody, hold your phones. Another 5 is on the
Wow.
podcast. This is 5 out of 5 every day. I fucking love this movie. I watch it very often. I'm never disappointed. It runs a bit long, but I'm never, ever sitting there thinking, oh, come on, hurry up. This is just a very, very well done in the film, in the sports genre. I would argue this may be the greatest ever sports film. It's certainly up there. We can talk about others at another time, but 5 out of 5, F-Wits. Stick that up your results.
Nice
work.
Nice.
Wolves.
What about you, G-Man? What are you giving Warrior?
Look, it's a pretty high mark for me. It's a really good movie, and watching it again, it's emotional. You go on the roller coaster with them all. It's 4.5 for me, 4.5. Yeah, it's good.
big.
I really, really enjoyed that. Yeah, I really enjoyed this rewatch. Loved it.
Yeah, look, I love Warrior. I'm with you, G-Man. It's 4.5. It's 9 out of 10.
This is gonna throw
This
it
is
up
going
there.
to make the rank bank very, very interesting. I think it's going to get a little heavy at the top, I would think. And I shall just move this over so Gao can read this.
Okay, so we have 4.67 legit drunk scenes, right above 4.5 flamethrowers for The Thing, equal with Raiders of the Lost Ark at 4.67 very dangerous asps and 4.67 80s flying mullets lethal weapon. That puts us into equal first.
First.
Yeah. Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's up there with some heavyweights.
I
I think down to 4th spot.
Yeah, I actually think not enough people have seen this movie, and it's one of these ones where I think it's so niche.
Yeah.
That people have avoided it for that reason.
But you
and
do not have to give a shit about mixed martial arts to love this film. It's just a brilliantly crafted film. It's awesome.
No, it is.
I actually think this is one you could easily watch with the wife or your partner.
Absolutely.
Very easily. They get as much out of it as what you would. The emotional journey of all the lead actors is just phenomenal. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. Not sure if it's on Netflix. Might be.
It's on Stan. It's on Stan.
No, it's on Stan.
It's on Stan now, right? It was on Netflix just recently, so it's on Stan
The
now.
good thing about this movie is that it doesn't just end with everyone being happy and like one of them wins, but he has to take his brother out, and the dad leaves it, and it's not covered, which is great because it doesn't just tie it up and
doesn't play it for fools. Doesn't play it for fools.
It just lets it go. And there's a lot more to it.
It's a great song. It's a great song. Okay, we're going to sneak this one at the end here. So if we like this, what else are you going to like? You got anything for this, Gao? 6 Sense?
I do.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, well, the 6th Sense ties right into this.
It does, absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw a few dead people in the octagon, that's for sure.
Yeah, Mad Dog Grimes.
Look,
yeah, Mad Dog's down.
The obvious one for this to me is The Fighter. Now,
good
Christian
choice. Yeah,
Christian Bale,
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg,
Yeah.
brothers. One has a drug problem. So there's interaction between them, and it's a tough, gritty story, and it is an awesome movie if you haven't seen it. It is hardcore, but Amy Adams in it as well. She's unreal. Melissa Leo as the mum.
Yeah.
It is so much like, I guess because the whole storyline is around two brothers and a fighting boxing background. It's really
Christian Bale won Academy Award.
Yep.
It's a great movie.
And he is fantastic.
That
His role
scene
is
when
just
he's in the
crazy.
prison and he's bragging to all the other inmates about the doco that's about him and his fighting life, and then it just shows up and his is just a full smacky. That's just heartbreaking. It's awesome. Yeah, what great choice, Gow. Excellent. You're back on form.
Yeah.
Brilliant choice.
Okay.
And it's funny when you watch the end of that movie and they cut to Mickey Ward and his brother, to Dickie Eklund, and then you only see a small snippet of them being together, and then you're thinking, well, I thought to myself, wow, these two are so much like them in the movie. They got it so well.
Definitely.
But the other one I had, if you haven't seen this, is a TV show, and we touched on it earlier. It's called Kingdom.
Yeah. This is our favourite.
It is a favourite.
Frank Grillo.
It is Frank Grillo. So Frank Grillo plays Alvy Colina. So it's kind of like 10 years on from where he is in this movie. And he's got two sons. One's Nick Jonas. He's got two sons that are different and wayward and doing their own thing. And he owns his own MMA gym. He's the coach. The first scene in this movie of this series, is unreal, with Frank Grillo in it when he knocks out this biker. And as soon as you watch that, you're hooked on this show, and it's gritty and it's dramatic.
Nick
Brian
Jonas
Callen's
is
in it.
excellent in it as well.
Nick Jonas is unreal in it. Brian Callen is awesome. He's the promoter in this. It's a fantastic show. Paul Walter Hauser's in it. The guy that was in Richard Jewell and I, Tonya, the big guy.
Yeah, the big fella.
Yeah, he's unreal, and he plays a bit of an unhinged guy in this show, and he's awesome. Like you can tell how good an actor he is just in this show as well.
Yeah.
He's just got it. So, but if you haven't seen it, and John Bull, if you haven't seen this series, get it. If you love Warrior, you will love that series.
Yeah, I'm sure Bullies will over this. What do you got, Dan?
Gals nailed it. I've got a couple here, but I don't want to. I bow to greatness. Well done. I'm with G.
Okay, excellent. I've got one. I've got two. One Southpaw, which has got Jake Gyllenhaal and Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, that's gritty.
Which is really, really good. After his wife gets shot and murdered, or sort of killed, not murdered, but killed, sort of killed. She's dead.
Is that Taylor Sheridan?
Yeah, I think it is Taylor Sheridan, Southpaw. Yeah. But he sort of goes down the spiral and loses his daughter and has to fight to get her back. And he's a boxer as well.
Oh my god,
he's fit in this, man. He is super fit. But I got two, and they're a movie and a sequel. Undisputed 1 and Undisputed 2. Now, Undisputed 1 stars Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames, and it's set in prison where Ving Rhames is the heavyweight champ of the world, and he gets sent to prison, and Wesley Snipes is the jailhouse champ, and they actually put this fight between the two of them, and it gets televised, and it's in this jail. It's completely unbelievable, but it's fucking amazing.
I've never heard of it.
Mate, it is so good. It's called Undisputed.
Yeah.
What is even better is Undisputed 2, right? Which has got Michael Jai White, who is like the most ripped human on the planet, and he's a martial arts freak. And it's almost the same movie, and he has to fight a Russian guy, which is that Stephen Adcock or whatever, or you'd know him. You'd know
Stephen
him.
Adcock. Is that Bull?
It is Bull. It's not Stephen Adcock. That is Bull. It's Stephen someone.
Does he have an axe in that one?
His nickname is Axe as well. But he has to fight him as well. There's all this. It's all the politicizing within the jail, and it's all crooked and stuff. And they are incredible movies. They are on Plex. You should watch both of them. They're really, really good. There's about 5 Undisputeds, but the first 2 are excellent.
Okay.
All right. And again, are we watching anything? We want to add to anything here? Are we watching anything?
I've been watching Full Swing, the golf doco.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, I'm 5 episodes in, really enjoying it. I really like.
Golf.
Have you watched Drive to Survive, Dan, the F1 one?
I have. It's a bit same. I've seen 2 episodes, and it's not really grabbing me this year so far.
Of Full Swing or Drive to Survive?
No, Drive to Survive. Yeah, I haven't seen any Full Swing because that's.
Oh wow, Drive to Survive is unreal.
I love Drive to Survive.
Yeah, it's awesome, and this is based sort of on that. But yeah, it's look if you're a golfer and you like golf, but even to get the backstory on some of those guys.
Let me clarify. Sorry, I love Drive to Survive. I've watched the first 2 episodes of the series that's just landed, and it's a bit ho-hum at the moment.
Oh, right. I gotcha.
Okay, excellent. What about you, Dan?
Drive to Survive. That's what I've watched a couple of episodes of that.
Okay.
And looking forward to watching The Last of Us when we break tonight.
Well, yes,
we'll
that's
be doing
right.
That, going straight home to watch that, obviously. I have started a new British police drama on Netflix. It's actually on Foxtel at the moment. It's called Happy Valley.
Oh, I love that. Happy Valley's awesome.
It's really freaking good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah, I've seen the first 2 series. Really good.
Yeah, really good. If you can get it, watch it. It's amazing.
What about those poor buggers? Like, stop, or I'll say stop again. Like,
yeah.
Honestly,
just give him a gun.
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 Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell you what else has come. I haven't watched this week, but I'm going to. Is Last King of the Cross has just come out. That's the one about John Ibrahim.
John Ibrahim, yeah.
Yeah, so it's got Matt Nable in it, and Matt Nable's the I think he's minder, he's bouncer, but he narrates it from what I understand. So yeah, it looks really good.
Matt Nable's a big fan of the podcast.
Oh.
You know, we've spoken at length. Johnny Bull, hit him up.
We love Matt Nable.
Matt Nable should get on here.
We should try and get. Well, surely with our connections, we'd be able to get Matt Nable.
He's from the Badlands.
Surely Northern Beaches boy.
Yeah, from the Badlands like us. Grew up.
Fellow Badlander.
Wrong side of the tracks on the Northern Beaches. So yeah,
got out. You know, got to get out of the Northern Beaches apparently. Okay, well that's it for this episode of Warrior. Now next week we got a crammed calendar coming up. I don't know whether we spoke about it last week, but we're going to have an Oscar special where we're going to do one of the greatest travesties of the Oscar of a movie not winning. We're also got our 50th episode coming up shortly. And we've also then got our first year anniversary, which we're going to do 2 of the biggest movies I think we'll ever do on this podcast in those 2 episodes. We're also going to miss Gow for a week. He's going away. He's going to he's working with Morgs, trying to get Morgs into the academy. So he's going to do some back channel workings.
There's a lot of heavy hitting going on here. I'm going to go and talk to Sensei Segal and a few others and see what we can do for Morgs here.
Thank you.
We're
Appreciate it.
We're working for you. We're working for you.
Fuck them. Appreciate it.
Next week, we're doing a great period piece. 2 Australian actors burst themselves onto the Hollywood scene and announced themselves. Academy Award-winning movie, LA Confidential.
Yeah, this has been brewing for a few weeks.
Has been brewing. I've wanted it.
Yeah,
I've wanted it for a while.
This is a good movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I haven't seen it for a while, but I've saw it a lot.
Three great performances by Aussie actors. If you count the Mentalist, Simon Baker-Denny as well.
Yeah, he's very good. He's swings both ways.
But he does. Yeah. But Guy Pearson, Rusty Crowe, Australia's own Rusty Crowe. Amazing. Bud.
Talk about dynamics between actors.
Yeah.
We'll get into that next week.
Good choice.
So on that note, next week it is LA Confidential. So do your homework. It is on Netflix, people. So rip in. It's a long one. It's another 2-hour plus movie, but it'll be worth every minute of it.
Make sure you watch it.
Yep. Kevin Spacey. And we can talk about him now that he's sort of apparently redeemed himself.
Has anyone jumped on the line and talked about any of the tips we've given them lately with fucking good flicks?
It's been a bit quiet on the waves this week, but just the stock standards. Get on the group. Let us know what you're watching. Let us know if you're watching any of the movies that we're recommending and if we're full of shit or not. That'd be nice. But for now, I reckon that's it. So until next week, where we'll see you looking at the Hollywood homicides with LA Confidential. It's bye for now.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Shouting, mega, mega white thing, mega, mega white thing, lager, lager, lager.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Born to Watch. To join us on our journey into some of our favourite movies of all time, you can find us on all good podcast networks like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and share with your friends.